let's listen to this man. He got some good news for you. Hey, man, listen. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he can say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is in the house. Welcome, everyone, to episode 625. And tomorrow is Labor Day. Be careful. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your family. Socialize. Enjoy the moment. Today, we're going to be talking about plastics and how research is confirming our worst fears and how I get to say, I told you so. So today we will break it down. Shocking new findings, hidden sources you may never have thought of, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself and your family. But first, I have to have a little rabbit trail here and thank everyone in Spain for being so nice to my wife and I where we attended the wedding of our granddaughter. And we will do a program about the diet in Spain, why they live an average of 4 to 5 years longer than we do, and they're healthier than we are because they do not use as much pesticides, herbicides, and preservatives and genetically modified organisms that we do. They do not eat out of a plastic bag. They buy their fish on ice at the fish market. Their bread is made fresh. Their pasta is fresh. You don't get bloated from their pasta. They eat a lot of fresh vegetables. They socialize. I didn't see as many people walking with their heads down. They were not afraid to say hello, even if you did not speak their language. So we will get into socialization and diet again. We've done programs on it. We'll do it again. But today, since it's a holiday weekend, I just thought I would revisit microplastics because not too long ago, we sounded the alarm. Tiny fragments of plastics that do not just pollute our oceans, but they also infiltrate our bodies. And you guessed it, the latest research is confirming what we've known. It confirms that now they have found plastic spoon-sized particles in our human brains. I told you about this. This is a game changer. So let's break it down. Let's talk about the hidden sources you may never have thought of, and really importantly, what you can do to protect yourself and your family. And this is Dr. Ron, unfiltered, uncensored, and I do not filter the truth. I try to amplify it. And the shocking truth is that microplastics aren't just in bottled water, seafood, and the air we breathe. A study that was reported by Dr. Rhonda Patrick reveals something unexpected. Even supposedly, quote-unquote, safe glass bottles contain microplastics. Up to 10 to 100 times more than plastic bottles. Why? Because of their plastic-coated caps. And if that wasn't enough, scientists have now detected plastic particles as large as a grain of sand inside the human brain. Think about it. Plastic where our neurons should be firing. Just think about that. Well, how does it get there? Well, microplastics are smaller than the width of a human hair, and some are even nanoplastic size, smaller than viruses. What does that mean? Well, that means they can cross biological barriers, the gut barrier, the gut-brain barrier, the lungs, the blood-brain barrier. That blood-brain barrier normally protects us from toxins. And about 5 years ago, we started telling you how the cell phones and EMFs open up that blood-brain barrier to toxins. Plastics are getting in there. Once inside, they trigger inflammation. They disrupt hormones, and they even interfere with mitochondrial energy production. Those powerhouses that we continually talk about and how we ask you to become a mitochondriac. Be really careful about injuring your mitochondria. I told you this before. I told you also about statins, and let me draw a parallel. For decades, Big Pharma has been selling statins as a magic bullet to stop heart disease. Trillions of dollars spent, millions of prescriptions written, yet heart disease, you guessed it, it's still the number one killer. The same pattern is playing out here, ladies and gentlemen, with plastics. Industry tells us it's safe. Regulators are dragging their feet, and meanwhile, we're left paying the price with our health. It's never good for me to say, I told you so. What can you do? Filter your water. Use a high-quality reverse osmosis system with carbon block filters, even if it's a countertop variety. Skip bottled water. Both plastic and glass bottles leach microplastics. Eat less farmed fish. Farmed fish eat plastic-filled feed. You know what that does? That makes them a direct source of microplastic contamination. Avoid heating food in plastic containers, especially in microwave ovens. Vacuum and dust often. Household dust is a major microplastic source. Choose natural fibers for your clothing and your bedding whenever possible. So I did have some questions that were sent in after the last episode, and one was, Dr. Ron, if glass bottled water has more microplastics than plastic bottles, is anything safe to drink? Well, it's a great question, and the answer is yes. Your safest bet is filtered tap water. Get a reverse osmosis filter system, and you'll eliminate most plastics, metals, and chemicals. Another listener, can our bodies detox microplastics naturally? Well, it's a difficult question, and to some extent they can. The body can excrete some through your stools, but many get stuck. So supporting detoxification pathways with fiber, antioxidants, and glutathione can help. Saunas can help. Sweating can help. But the real key here is reducing the exposure to the plastics in the first place. Well, another question, should we stop eating seafood altogether? Well, not necessarily. Go for the wild-caught small fish like sardines and anchovies that have fewer plastics compared to the large farmed fish like salmon and tilapia. It's about making smarter choices, not total avoidance. So we were right, ladies and gentlemen. Microplastic crisis is not a theory anymore. It's here. It's in us. And now it's even in our brains. And if you've been listening to this program, you're ahead of the curve. But you have to keep listening, questioning, and taking action to protect yourself and your loved ones. This story is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, I'll be here to bring you the truth. Remember, I don't just filter it, I amplify it. And if we have a couple of minutes here. There's some other questions that were sent in. Dr. Ron, I only drink bottled water because I thought it was safer. What should I do now that we know even glass bottles contain microplastics? Well, that's another great question. We told you about the research by Dr. Rhonda Patrick that showed even glass bottled water leaches microplastics from the caps mostly. So invest in that water filter. It's really important. And store your water in a stainless steel or glass container with steel lids when possible. so that you can cut down on your daily exposure. Another listener asked, don't we just excrete them? Well, unfortunately, not always. These nanoplastics are small enough to enter our bloodstream and go right into our organs and even penetrate our brain. They're not just harmless, they're inflammatory and they're toxic. Another listener asks, well, Dr. Ron, you've talked about statins before. How does that tie in to microplastics? Well, both are examples of medical blind spots. We have spent hundreds of billions of dollars on statins, and yet heart disease is still the number one killer. Meanwhile, we have ignored the growing plastic pollution crisis that's poisoning our water, our food, and now our bodies. So why don't we put our health dollars where they solve real problems? And I could go on for an hour on statins and their associations with dementia, diabetes, muscle aches and pains. So use your common sense, ventilate your home and use filters. Check your personal care products. Do not microwave in plastic containers. And eat less processed food because microplastics have been found in everything from salt to tea bags. And, I guess two things, again, filter your water, avoid the single-use plastics, especially the plastic water bottles, the food containers, and the utensils. Because, again, we're talking about inflammation and stress on our systems, which drive disease, oxidative stress, all made worse by microplastics. And we have to remember they are endocrine disruptors. And I get a lot of pushback on farmed fish. Well, they're often fed pellet-based diets made from ground fish, soy, corn, and plastic-contaminated byproducts. They also swim in water polluted with plastic particles, which they ingest directly. When we eat the fish, we eat the plastic. Industries are dumping plastics into our water, soil, air. It's crazy. I've told you this before, and I guess I'll keep telling you. I just see another question here about the bottle caps. I guess you could rinse and dry the bottle caps before use. Maybe a quick rinse with water and alcohol can reduce the contamination. But, why do it in the first place? Here's something was sent in. New research by France's Food Safety Agency found that beverages in glass bottles contain significantly more microplastics, averaging around 100 particles per liter in drinks like soda, lemonade, iced tea, and beer. Wow. Thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, always think of the bigger picture. Try and eat as unprocessed as possible, as close to nature as possible. This microplastic is concerning, especially now that they've found it in the brain. So I want to thank you again for joining me in this episode. And we'll try to continue to bring you more discussions on these health topics so that you can stay informed and stay healthy and avoid physicians. And I guess I have to take one shot here. Don't like to talk about my own field of medicine, but we talk about pharmaceuticals, right? Now, there are hundreds of thousands of deaths from properly prescribed pharmaceuticals. But think about it. Who's prescribing them? Doctors. They really don't care. They just pick up the prescription pad and write. They are the one writing these prescriptions because the statistics are from properly prescribed pharmaceuticals. These pharmaceuticals, where do you get them? You get them from doctors who are writing them. And it's your responsibility ultimately for your own health. But at the same time, your doctor isn't supposed to be a complete moron. He's not supposed to ignore toxic loads that patients are subject to. Sorry about that, but they prescribe a lot of drugs The opioids came from prescription pads. So with that, have a great holiday weekend. I'm going to undergo some dental procedures this week, and we'll talk about that. And I'll talk about it with Dr. Jerry Smith, who has provided me with some valuable insight to talk about with the surgeon. He's really an expert in cranial adjustment and how your mouth and your cranium can affect your whole organ system, right down to your sacrum. So we'll talk to him about that. So have a great weekend. This is Dr. Ron. I'll see you next time, and Freddie will take us home.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. See you next week.